Considering Peter just dumped over 400 gallons of water on Reggie's head, she weathered the storm quite well. Give her a big round of applause. Now what else can we do in a water tank similar to this? Recreating a full-size full-scale label mat at sea, but sink a film's budget. That's why we have miniatures like the one you see here at the tank. Now, how do you film a miniature ship heading through the ocean? Let's take a look at the monitor to see how this is done. If we leave the water surface flat, then our miniature looks fake. So we add some waves. But if these waves are too big, our boat looks like a toy in a bathtub. To get around this problem, we have large ramps and make fast, small-moving waves. Then we slow everything down to get the scene its proper scale. Then we add some spoke, sound effects, and dramatic music. And our battle sequence is almost complete. As I say almost complete, we did add a few things such as explosion, provided by our underwater air cannons, an actor today provided by Peter, and a highly trained special effects expert, Reggie, who just recently retired from acting. Now Peter, this is your scene. You're Captain Duck, commander of the SS Totally Sinkable, and our action-packed adventure, all hands on deck. Are you ready, Captain Peter? You're in patrol in the deepest, darkest regions of the special effects water tank. And off in the distance on the left-hand side, your captain, you see an enemy battleship. You're going to fire a torpedo through the ship's bow and fire one, Captain! Nice shot. Unfortunately, one more. And the aircraft coming in at attack, lock down, duck, give the duck! Afraid you're not survived the revenge of the skipper. Enemy torpedoes aimed in all directions around you. Now, skipper, fire torpedoes. And they're getting closer and closer. And captain, you're a dead duck. Nice shot, skipper. Now let's take a look at that explosive performance for our captain in super slow motion. As my co-host Christy is taking back to dry off, that concludes your first primary tour. Now you're going to be turning your lap down a ramp through the sliding glass doors and onto the shovels for a second part, featuring Catastrophe Canyon. On behalf of my co-host Christy, I'm Brad, and again, thank you for visiting this special whitewater tank.
Oh, that's where they keep all the neat stuff. That's where they keep all the neat stuff they use in the movies. What? Oh, really? Yeah, there they are. They're right there. Hi, Jan, it's wet over here.
Good, good.
Christine,
I can do it over here and laugh while y'all get wet. Killa. Killa, killa. Killa, killa, killa.
Capped off with a giant set of Mickey Mouse ears. Each one of those ears weighs over 2.5 tons, and its 28.5-foot diameter translates into a hat size of 342 3/8. Well, now you're probably wondering why we know this. Well, every holiday season, we top the tower off with a giant red stocking cap. Now, the Disney MGM Studios is more than just a theme park. We're a high-tech working production center. We feature sound stages, outdoor sets, state-of-the-art editing facilities, recording studios, and everything else you need to Affleck and Liv Tyler. This is the Space Shuttle Freedom. It's a 1/5 scale model that's theoretically 30% larger than the shuttle used in today's NASA space program. And that's so it could fit the Armadillo rover vehicle that you saw in that film inside of it and carry it up into space. We actually have the Armadillo on the tour. I'll show it to you in just a few moments. This is 35 feet long. It's made of wood, epoxy, and fiberglass over an aluminum frame. It was built by the VFX company. They're one of 2 special effects firms that did all of the work for Armageddon. Now as we round this teardrop turn right here, if you point your cameras off to the right-hand side, you get your best photo opportunity of our Earful Tower. And on your left-hand side are these beige one-story buildings. These are called bungalows. They provide office space for the production crews that come here to use our studio facilities. This is where the writers, directors, actors, production staff, and even the stars meet to talk movie deals and take care of the day-to-day business before actual filming begins. Well, we're now entering one of the most glamorous areas of the studios. It's our award-winning creative costuming department. The whole process begins with a designer's sketch, and you can see some examples of our designer's artwork on the walls to your left and right. From there, our team of seamstresses and tailors go to work to turn those drawings into the finished garments worn by the performers. Take a look at the display cases coming up off to your left-hand side. You can see costumes worn by Sir Anthony Hopkins in Instinct, by Bruce Willis in The Sixth Sense. The middle exhibit features the Waterboy Ensemble, worn by Adam Sandler. The fourth case contains the costume worn by Matthew Broderick as Inspector Gadget. And the final case contains flight suits worn by Ben Affleck and Steve Buscemi in Touchstone Pictures' Armageddon. Now, our team of over 250 skilled professionals will use up to 1.5 million yards of fabric every year to create more than 25,000 costumes. This makes us the world's largest working wardrobe department. The area coming up off to your left is a storage area used by our lighting and grip department. And coming up off to your right is one of many prop storage areas we have here in the studios. And inside there you can see some props from George of the Jungle, which stars Leslie Mann and Brendan Fraser. And we also have the Armadillo from Armageddon. Now, that's an actual working vehicle. It's built on a Humvee chassis, has 16-wheel independent suspension, gasoline powered with a 4-wheel drive. It was built by a 50-person crew in just a little over 2 months. Wow. Back on your left-hand side is our scenic shop. That's where our team of skilled carpenters and artisans create and maintain all of the sets that we use on our sound stages, as well as out on location. Now, one of the great things about the movies is that they can take us to so many different places, from the house next door to a dangerous canyon to the bottom of the ocean. Right now, we're going to head towards our back lot, where we can take you to any one of those places that I just mentioned. For example, if we were going to film an undersea adventure, we'd head for this large green tent coming up off to your left-hand side. That houses our underwater special effects tank. That was originally built for the Terry Hulk Hogan television series, Thunder in Paradise. Now, on the inside, it resembles a large swimming pool, but the bottom is made up to look like the ocean floor. This provides a much safer and more controllable environment than actually filming out in nature. Next, we're going to take a look at some very unusual houses. We're entering an area of the back lot that's known as Residential Street. Now, if you take a look at this first house, which is coming up off to your right-hand side, you may notice something odd. It's just a facade or false front. There are no backs or insides to any of these homes here on Residential Street. And since different scripts can call for different neighborhoods, all 8 homes have been modeled after different styles of American architecture. Now, when Jim Varney was here filming Ernest Saves Christmas, this second house on your right, number 242, was used for the exterior shots of Vern's house. By the way, that was the first full-length feature filmed right here at the Disney MGM Studios. Back in 1988, that was 1 full year before the park actually opened up to guests. Now, every one of these homes has been used in some sort of production, and you may recognize some of the ones coming up. For example, this beige Hawaiian-style house coming up off to your left-hand side. For 7 seasons, it was the home to the Emmy Award-winning Golden Girls, Dorothy, Rose, Blanche, and Sophia. Exterior shots for the Golden Girls were filmed right here and then edited together with interior footage that was shot on a soundstage in California. The blue Cape Cod-style house, also coming up off to your left-hand side, was home to Alice in the Disney Channel's educational series, Adventures in Wonderland. Across the street from Alice is the facade used for Touchstone Television's hit sitcom Empty Nest, which starred Richard Mulligan, Dinah Manoff, Christy McNichol, and everyone's favorite Bear the Dog as Dreyfus. Now, when production crews travel to cities and towns to film on location, They often have to deal with things they have little or no control over. Things like crowds, traffic, Mitchell Street. We're going to be headed back this way in just a few moments. Right now we're going a little deeper into the back lot, though. We're heading out to a place called the Boneyard. Now, one of the most popular things in the movies these days are the action scenes with lots of chases, crashes, and explosions. And you may have wondered what happened to all those cars, boats, buses, and trains after they were chased, shot at, smashed up, or blown apart. Well, they end up out here in our Boneyard. All large studios have one. It's a place where they keep their huge, oversized spaceship as my favorite Martian. The huge ape, Mighty Joe Young, was transported in this miniature cattle car through the magic of cross-cutting scenes. Director Steven Spielberg used the tank and other military-looking vehicles in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Notice the treads on the tank are actually made of rubber. That saved a lot of wear and tear on the actors who had to be thrown on top of that take after take. The two mining cars are from Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Up ahead, this large mechanical monster is from Who Framed Roger Rabbit. This is Judge Doom's infamous Toontown Dipmobile. Now, also from Who Framed Roger Rabbit, we have an orange trolley car and 3 blue Plymouths. As we pass by the trolley, you'll notice it's nothing more than a modified city bus. Those steel wheels are actually just fiberglass covers that have been fitted over the bus's tires. These 3 blue Plymouths are actually 3 of 7 that were used to show different stages of destruction of Detective Eddie Valiant's car in that film. The yellow helicopter is from Ellen's Energy Adventure, now showing at the Universe of Energy in Epcot. Blue helicopter cockpit from Blue Thunder, starring Roy Scheider and Daniel Stern. From Disney's The Rocketeer, we have 2 prop airplanes, the GB and Howard Hughes Experimental Autogyro. Long black speedboat custom built for Disney presents the 100 Lives of Blackjack Savage. 2 futuristic-looking vehicles are a fleet trainer and life pod from Starship Troopers, and the large silver space pod that's Max from Disney's Flight of the Navigator. Now, if you take a look across the canal, you get a real backstage glimpse at our residential street. Notice how the architectural details, like the shingles on the roof, stop just beyond camera range. We really only build what the camera needs to see. Now, that's an old Hollywood production trick. It's called saving money. Well, now up ahead of us here is that large standing set where they were testing out those special effects earlier today, and well, from the direction we're taking, it looks like we've gotten clearance to go ahead and head on into this set. Now, to get in here, we have to drive over a bridge. It does get a little bit bumpy at this point, so I just want to remind everyone to please keep a firm grip on all personal belongings you have with you today, including favorite small children, and please remember to stay seated at all times. Now, this set was modeled after an actual canyon in Southern California. It took our production crews almost 6 months to put it together. That may seem like a long time to wait for just one set, but when you consider how long we would have had to wait for Mother Nature to produce the actual thing, well, then 6 months doesn't sound that bad. Now, I do believe we're going to be able to stop in here for just a few moments. That way you folks can take some pictures, and I can tell you some little behind-the-scenes facts about this canyon. For example, just above us is a platform where production crews will mount their cameras so they can film down into the canyon. Now, for this scene, they needed that large tanker truck, and that was actually located out in our boneyard. Obviously, we couldn't drive it across this ravine, so to get it in here, we had to hoist it up over the canyon walls with a crane and then lower it down into place. Now, when we were out here earlier today, they were working on a very unique rain effect. That's why you see some water still dripping into the canyon here. Sometimes the rain effect leaks a little bit. All right, I guess they're still working on this rain effect. It's created by high-powered water nozzles located just above us. They spray that water outward and in a crisscross pattern to give it a more natural look as it is falling. You will notice, however, that the entire canyon is not experiencing this rainstorm. That's because the water is only being shot out to the first 15 feet. Scene 1, take 2. Production crew, can you cut this scene, please? We brought a tour into the canyon. Can you cut this tape, please, so we can get out of here? All right. which is hand-carved to look like natural rock formations. The small yellow pipes you see running throughout the set carry the gas for the fire and explosions. The larger gray pipes carry the water for the flash flood. Now that flood started when we opened up 3 large tanks on the top of the canyon, sending 70,000 gallons of water thundering down the canyon towards our shuttle. To add even more action to that scene, some of the water is blown into the canyon through high-powered air cannons. Now these air cannons are so powerful that if we took one to New York City and stuck a basketball in it, we could shoot that ball up over the top of the Empire State Building. The earthquake you felt was created by hydraulic shaker tables located just underneath the bridge, and pumps 1, 2, and 3 on the end are busy recycling all the water back up to the top of the canyon for the very next show. Catastrophe Canyon was originally created with the help of a Hollywood special effects team, and what could seem like an out of